What a great figure. 2025 would go down in history as the Great Devastator Wars. You had Studio Series, Fans Toys, X-Transbots, Dreamstar Toys, Mecha Invasion, L1 Studios, Blockies, and all the other countless third parties that have already had their takes. And now in 2026, we have yet another competitor entering the fray. Hey, my name's Dante, and the microplastic we're looking at today is the Ocular Max PS-27 Deletus, MMC's take on Decepticon Scrapper. MMC has always been one of the big three third-party MP Transformers companies to me, the other two being Fans Toys and X-Transbots. You know, it's not always the shiniest paint, but it always looks as good as the day you got it. It's not always the most expensive materials, but it's always a good value. And it's not always the biggest, but it is always solid. But nonetheless, there is a lot of competition in this space for a Devastator. And so with their first maneuver in the all-out Devastator Wars, is Deletus worth keeping, or should he be scrapped? Let's find out.
Scraper report!
Let's scrapper, you asshole!
I really like this design, but there are definitely things I like and there's things I'm not as big of a fan of. One of the things I'm really happy about is the colors. They are just really, to me, these are perfect. Primarily colored plastic with only paint when necessary prevents color mismatching, and it gives it a really consistent look overall. The green is definitely more on the fluorescent side, but I think it really works in this case because it's plastic, so it doesn't reflect light the same way that die-cast or paint does. And it's definitely a pro or con depending on what kind of collector you are, but I think this color is outstanding if you're looking specifically for cartoon accuracy in the color. The parts that are painted to are just really well done. There's just the right amount of paint with just the right amount of sparkle. There's no overspray, it's not sloppy, and it's very confidence inspiring that it won't chip. I also love this head sculpt. It's very blocky, but there's still a lot of angularity that really adds to the dimensionality of this guy. And even the fedora is just right. The eyes are a nice glossy red. They're not metallic, but I am very okay with that. And in general, this head is just perfect to me. The scoop as well spans across the entire shoulder length. There's no visible teeth from the front, and even in the back profile, it scoops down just slightly, and the back in general is really clean. To me, this is just bucket perfection. The body proportions, however, kind of feel off. I mean, immediately my eyes are drawn to his chest, which, I mean, to point out, the shoulder panels are a little bit wide, but that's just kind of a nitpick. But his chest in general is quite wide in comparison to his waist and his legs. I mean, like, god damn, look at those lats, man. It would have been helpful if they kind of made the waist wider. I think they tried to create that effect by making these parts right here green, but I still can't help but feel like he's looks like a gym bro that skips leg day, which becomes very apparent when you look at these toothpicks for thighs. I mean, most Transformers have legs that are pencil thin at the top and huge Mega Man boots at the bottom, but the change in proportions is very abrupt, and it kind of creates a very jarring effect to the eyes. So I'm not thrilled about his proportions, but it looks cartoon accurate enough that it's a pass for me. Fortunately, thanks to my friend Sunny, I actually do have the Fans Toys and X-Transbots version to compare. So on my right here, we've got Fans Toys Gary, and on my left, we've got X-Transbots Ground Bites. And some quick notes, in terms of design, MMC's is built like a Dorito. There's no doubt about it. X-Transbots definitely has the most natural looking, and
Damn, boy, he's thick!
So they all have different proportions, but if I had to pick my favorite, I'd honestly say Gravedigger is my favorite. It's the most natural looking. The legs, they seamlessly integrate into each other. The boots are still thicker than the thighs, but it looks a lot more natural. Followed by Deletus. I think the colors and the scoop is just perfect. The head sculpt is outstanding. And, you know, these legs aren't my favorite, but I think it's something I can deal with. And then my least favorite is probably Mr. Potato Head right here. Which is not to say that Deletus is horrible. He still looks great. And looks even better with his accessories. You get an unpainted but nicely sculpted gun. You get a trumpet. It's not brass, but it's still a very nice shade. You get what looks like a chip clip, but is actually for a really unique feature for transformation, which we will touch on later. As for his articulation, it is excellent. The head is on a swivel, a hinge up and down, and a ridiculous draft neck. Shoulders go out 90 degrees, arms fully rotate 360 degrees, there's a full 360 bicep swivel, a supreme double jointed elbow, wrist rotation, a sassy index finger, a ball joint and hinged thumb, a single hinge on the rest of the 3 fingers, a great ab crunch that can become the supreme Gok 9000 if you cheat it, a ratcheted waist swivel, a ratcheted hip hinge forward, backwards, and outwards, thigh swivel, an excellent double knee bend, that can bend forward if you want, that's for transformation, and a 2-part ankle and heel pivot, and some toe up and down articulation. So Pova's ability is incredible. I mean, this is probably about as articulated as a masterpiece scale transformer can get. And, you know, there's definitely not as much diecast compared to the competition, but I honestly don't care. Diecast is often overused to kind of excuse laziness and pass it as premium quality, so I don't mind, because it's kind of hard to describe how this feels. I mean, this is with all MMC toys, but in kind of an analogous term, it's like a Honda versus a BMW. Sure, you know, the BMW is cool, but the Honda is going to be just as good day one as, you know, any day after even after 100,000 miles. And to me, this is like a Honda. It just feels so good. So in terms of articulation and feel, its plastic invites you to play on, but if you choose to leave it in a pose and display it, you will not be disappointed regardless, even if you leave it in alt mode. Alt mode transformation is fairly intuitive. There's a few unique gimmicks to this that I will point out, but the tolerances are all great and the joints move where they need to. The shoulders are very interesting because they have a positional dial used to adjust the arm's position. Each position serves a different purpose, and you'll sometimes forget which position goes to the correct one, but it's a fairly independent joint, so fixing it is really easy, and it doesn't require you to untransform a bunch of other stuff to access it. There are other couple small steps you'll have to remember, but the most frustrating part by far is the legs. Because this is an all-in-one triple changer, MMC decided to put a double ratchet system for the knees to serve as a double ratchet for the combined mode. It's a great idea, but it is a little fiddly when it comes to compressing it all and placing the knee joints in just the right spots. If the ratchets aren't aligned together perfectly, the legs just won't compress and it won't all tab in properly, which can be frustrating. And the last gimmick is the chip clip from earlier. The wheels have grooves that the clip can grab onto, which pulls out the wheels and transforms them into be bigger, kind of like an origami ninja star. It's a cool gimmick that gives the vehicle a more substantial presence like you'd expect from a construction vehicle without bulking out the bot mode. What an evil looking construction vehicle. The scoop is nicely ratcheted, the wheels are pinned on, and they roll fairly well. Not as nice as rubber tires, but I'm still a fan. The details are outstanding. The exhaust pipes are black. There's metal grate patterns at the step bar, painted brake and reverse lights, and even paint in the dashboard and steering wheel. The back is very much a sore spot, but that's kind of a compromise for the all-in-one gimmick that I am personally willing to accept. And here are the competitors. We've got X-Transbots and we've got Fans Toys on the right. I'm just gonna immediately come out the gate and say I'm not a fan of the Fans Toys one. Haha, I'll be here all week. And it's because this vehicle is just so distracting in the front half. Like, man, that is so busy looking and Kibble looking, but so plain in the back. And the transformation honestly reflects that. These legs are so easy, but the front, like this whole front torso area is so complicated. This is just not appealing to me at all. It's floppy and I don't know what purpose it serves. And there's literally no detail in the cockpit. So to me, this is just automatically the worst one. I mean, the rubber tires are nice and the chrome is nice, but that's not enough for me because these guys are the main stars to me. X-Transbots has really nice detail in the front. Usually X-Transbots has really great vehicles. The metal scratching is, man, that's just a part of X-Transbots. It's just a X-Transbot staple, honestly. But regardless, I mean, a ladder, grill marks, rubber tires that are also pinned really nicely with chrome. It's really great. The steering wheel is a nice detail. And dude, this seat, this is literally a seat that folds out on his butt. Like that's freaking awesome. The MMC one, I like equally as much. I mean, the scoop is panely, while this one has no panels in the scoop. So that's fine by me. The hydraulics are cleaner, more built in. I kind of like that. If you're looking for, I guess, the more realistic vehicle mode, the X-Transbots would be better. But I think in terms of transformation, this transformation is, it's not complicated. It's just, you kind of feel like you have to, like, it feels like a ticking time bomb when you mess with it. MMC, smooth, great alt mode, great transformation. I cannot complain here. If you care about the vehicle mode, I would say these two are definitely on par with each other. Fans Toys, I would not keep for the vehicle mode at all. But overall, I'm very happy with this alt mode. It's just a great looking vehicle mode that sets up for an excellent leg mode, which again is not too complicated. Some small parts here and there to remember. The shoulder dial does need to be shifted to the correct position. The double ratchet knees need to be fully extended and straightened, and the scooper does need to be shrunken down to become the foot. But all in all, it's smooth and it's an unfussy transformation. Here is the leg mode. It tabs together solidly and it's very, very stable. It's technically not cartoon accurate because the scrapper arms becoming the heels are more akin to the toy. In later iterations though, in the comics and many of the other shows, this kind of becomes a lot more common practice where the heels are scrapper's arms, so I'm okay with that. It's actually where one of the more famous memes comes from. But besides that, the articulation, dude, is just amazing. I mean, the toe goes up and down, which is kind of cool. It's not super helpful. I can't imagine it being too helpful in combined mode, but I appreciate that it's there rather than not being there. The ankle is really nice. It's got a kind of smooth friction joint forward. You can push it back a little bit if you move these wheels out of the way, but I don't think that's super necessary. The ankle tilt side to side is on a really soft ratchet, but it's very stiff. There's definitely no looseness, which you may or may not see later in something else. And then this double knee hinge is just, dude, it's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know, it's really stiff, which is good for combined mode whenever there's a lot of weight on the top. But that double knee bend is just insane. Like, you can see the double ratchets working right here where it gives you enough space to have a double knee bend. And it's really stiff at the top. So yeah, I mean, if Mixmaster is as solid as this, I have no doubt in my mind that this thing will definitely be able to hold a full combiner. Do I like legs? So here are the other legs for comparison. We've got the X-Transbots one on the left and the Fans Toys one on the right. The Fans Toys one is definitely the sturdiest. It's also technically the most G1 cartoon accurate with these heels. Like I said, later they move towards Scrapper's arms being the heels, but for G1 accuracy, this is technically the most G1 accurate. The articulation though is pretty limited. The knee bend only goes about, I mean, if you have to move these hip skirts out of the way, but even then it only goes about that far. And the ankle tilt is not really an ankle tilt. It does tilt the leg, but it's not really at the ankle. The ankle is kind of more down here in my opinion, but it is sturdy and it will definitely survive a nuclear explosion. The X-Transbots one, oh man, dude, this thing is questionable. I mean, you can kind of see it's leaning back right here at the hinge. And one, it's because there's a ton of weight at the top right here. And two, this hinge is the ab crunch that's not ratcheted, and it's just this tiny, tiny slider joint. And I mean, you can see that this ankle tilt is super floppy. It feels like more like a joystick than an actual, like, you know, stable ankle tilt. And I think hold on. I just blew on this and it wobbled. That is very questionable and it does not inspire confidence. MMC's is definitely the best of both worlds. It's got articulation and it's got sturdiness. The only thing is that it is smaller. I don't think that's going to be a big deal once it's in combined mode, considering that this is where the knee is. That means the hip will maybe extend this far up right here, and then it'll go up even higher and it will be plenty big for a masterpiece scale. If you want the biggest and the baddest, I would say the Fans Toys is definitely going to be there, but I think this doesn't look very good, so I would go for the MMC one. X-Transbots, I would not get this for combined mode. So for some closing thoughts. As an individual bot, it is far and above my favorite to handle. The transformation is intuitive, its posability is stellar, the joints are all tight or ratcheted, there's no flop, the plastic quality invites you to play with it. And you know, I like die cast and paint and all that, but at the end of the day, good plastic and engineering is what makes a toy great. And the alt mode is visually appealing and nicely detailed. The combined mode is sturdy, it's filled out, tabs in everywhere, and it's very well articulated. If I were just displaying it on the shelf and never touching it, I would still be happy because the colors, the head sculpt, and the details are just spot on. If singular bot mode proportions are your priority, I would definitely say the X-Transbots is better. The head is a little too round, but this figure is the only one that has a true figure 8 that I expect, and it's in no way worth the trade-off of that scary-ass combined mode in my opinion. And you know, the general X-Transbots QC problems that I think we all know about. If your goal is to have the biggest, the baddest, the shiniest, show-stopping, jaw-dropping, heart-attack-inducing masterpiece scale devastator, then there's no doubt that Fans Toys will be your pick. It won't be any fun to play with, but it will definitely be a showpiece. And note that I said devastator because here the individual bot is definitely the weakest of the three in my opinion. For me personally, however, Deletus is my pick. And it will be what I buy for my MP Scale Devastator because I really value the playability and the price. They might have been late to the party, but at least they showed up fashionably late. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If you want to see more reviews on mecha, anime, and Transformers, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.